Hello everyone, welcome to the club. Thank you for coming to today's stream. Sorry for the long intro. There is currently a situation happening, so I'm just gonna have to monitor my phone. There's just I'm not close enough to do anything, but there's like a fire kind of in my sister's neighborhood, so yay, happy Friday everyone. Fucking hell. This is unrelated because we currently don't know the cause of the fire, but just putting it out there that fireworks kind of stupid in general. God. Anyway, I think I still have 2 hours left. Oh right, I got on late yesterday. Damn. Anyway, this will be my last Risa stream for the season, sadly. Basically this is the last Friday of the month, so therefore this is my last stream of the month. So Risa ends next, what is it, like Wednesday? I don't remember. I'm not gonna be able to finish this, but it's worth it, I guess, to hang out and see if I can get like a choo-choo in the last minute or something. I still don't have all the favors I want for all the stuff. Anyway, hopefully there is not more situation happening, but it'll just feel better if I have that up to look at. Okay, I don't remember how many more things I wanted, but I do know that this is not enough. I don't remember, but I can't remember how many things I needed. Like if I needed like 3K or something, or if it was like 2.5K is all. I can't remember what I did, but yeah. You know, maybe I'll get out one of these to do the leg kick. Happy weekend! Hopefully everyone is starting their weekend off better than some people, I guess. There we go. The Running Man. I was trying to get out like a piece of paper to write down if I need to calculate anything for how many favors I need.
Raise the roof.
Raise the roof. Okay.
Do the Running Man.
Okay, Running Man. There we go. I bet, like, the one time... Okay, so I was on here a couple days ago, and I got, like, 2 choo-choo dances in a row. I think that was a fluke, and that's never going to happen again. Because it's never happened to me before, so I doubt it's going to happen again.
Do the leg kick.
Do the leg kick. Got 3 choo-choos. See, this never happens to me. Like, there's definitely, like, times that I have gotten lucky. Like I said, I literally just, like, I got two, like, almost in a row, like, 2 moves away from each other. But I've never gotten more than that.
Do the snake.
And, like, some years I've done dance off a lot, and I still have not done, I've not gotten,
See you again.
I have not gotten that many choo-choos. Well, I think I only got the first one, or maybe two. Hopefully I got the first two. I think that's what I figured, like, would be good, but... Alrighty. Just don't... I don't know where to set my phone. I don't want it to be too far away. Okay. Dare I do powerboard race? I'm really bad at powerboard race, but I'll do it anyway. Then afterwards, oh no, I'll do that, then Horgon Hunt, and since that doesn't take very long, then I'll look at the shop and calculate how many I need, how many favors I need. See, I tried to, like, work on organizing my shit recently on my desk, but then, like, it just became a mess again. Like, so much for that. It was because I was, like, cleaning the rest of the room, and then, like, I started putting things on the desk, and then I was like, God damn it, I was supposed to be cleaning the desk. I put up a couple of new trinkets today that I had laying around that needed to go on, like, the shelves I have up by the ceiling. Let's hope I don't leave the damn track this time. Last time I played this, I literally just went, like, whoosh, right off the track. To be fair, I was on the phone with somebody while I was doing it, so... How caught up are you on Strange New Worlds? I was significantly less busy this week. Ironically, I was less busy this week because I did have a performance on Wednesday. No, I did not win. For those who were not aware, I was in a challenge show competition on Wednesday. It was just a small little thing, just for fun. Like, I don't care that I didn't win. More on that later. Anyway, I was actually, like, not quite as busy this week, ironically, so I, am fully caught up. However, I don't want to, like, completely go into too much detail, out of respect for, like, I know a lot of people, like, haven't watched it. But, like, you don't have to, like, tiptoe around it, you know? Oh, God. Okay, that counted, I guess. I thought I was gonna go, like, straight the fuck over that. Ah! That was a close one. This week's episode is my least favorite genre. Like, what genre do you mean, necessarily? I don't... Because there was a couple things I liked about it, and a couple things I didn't. Because honestly, I feel like, oh, zombie... Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I totally get that. I feel you. I thought, like, okay, but honestly, like, one of my... No! That was cursed. I hate powerboard race. I also don't think... Was that my daily progress? Oh, I guess that was my... Oh, because I didn't do it twice yesterday. Anyway. Oh, God, not my dry mouth again. I actually have, I have, like, moisturizing mouth spray now that saved my life on Wednesday. 'Cause... I don't know if I mentioned this on here, but yeah, literally, like, because the allergies have been so bad this year, I've had to take my allergy medicine for basically 2 straight months. Which usually it's only, like, a month and a half that it's bad enough, like, I have to be taking it every single day, right? But, yeah, it's kind of like... It's been drying me out so bad. Like, if you use antihistamines for that long, it can like make your mouth and eyes dry. And I am just really prone to stupid side effects. So my mouth, when I sing, like the moisture just like goes out of it, or talk. But mostly when I sing on stage and I'm in like moving around, it's a little bit worse. But my eyes too. God. I don't even know why, like, I bother doing my makeup, because they just start watering at some point in the day. Okay, so I need to double check what I have. Because I'm trying to get all the emotes this time. Okay, we'll just pin that, then I'll... Okay, so I for sure got... Sorry, for those who missed it at the end, too, or not at the end, for those who missed it at the beginning... I'm trying to monitor a situation as well. Like, I'm too far away to do anything about it, but there's like a fire near like where my sister lives, so I'm trying to like hover over. Like, I don't mean to be distracted, but this is obviously kind of serious. I think she's talking to my parents, so I think we're all good, but like, there hasn't been an update in a while, you know? Okay, so I do not have this one. I did get Tap Dance. So the new ones, I'm only missing one. So that's 600. I might not need the notepad for this. We'll see. Okay, I think I got Shapes, Cupid, and Swish. Okay, I know I got those. So the only ones I don't have are the baseball ones. So I don't necessarily know if oh wait, no, I want the baseball swing, I think. Unless I have it already. Oh no, I don't have the swing. I do want the swing. So let me grab that and then grab this. I'm sorry, I just am not a sports person. I don't care about baseball, but I do care. I do want to hit the ball. I think this is yeah. I think this is the one I've seen that I wanted. That I thought was funny. Yes, this is the one. This is the best. Anyway, okay. Anyway, back to Strange New Worlds. My thing about Strange New Worlds is, like, this season, but also, like, all of it, this season I feel like it's just been hitting a lot of points. I'm like, there's a lot of gore. There's a lot of gore in Strange New Worlds. All things considered. Like, it's not horrible, right? Let's check how many I have left. Okay, so I still have 1,000 left, like over 1,000 left. So I used 1,200, basically. And then technically that was everything I wanted. So now I have to decide what else I kind of want.
Welcome to Risa.
Let me get my Horgons though. Horgons. Anyway, just like between like the Gorn, which like had been a thing since the beginning of Strange New Worlds, like early on they were like, okay, this version of the Gorn is like just fucking wild. They're like in their ultimate predator mode. They're basically like, they're kind of like the raptors from Jurassic Park, low-key. But like, though, okay, I shouldn't say more intelligent, because the raptors in Jurassic Park are not necessarily portrayed as completely unintelligent. They just kind of operate off of instinct, which I think they're trying to imply that the Gorn also operate off of instinct, like in their default state. But I do wonder I do wonder how they're going to tie it in, because I do know, like, I have heard that originally, season 5 of Enterprise was supposed to go a little more into the Gorn, so I'm not sure on the details on that, but I've heard that, like, some of the, because, I mean, if you look at the mirror Gorn that they had in Enterprise, like, I think that there has to be some of this that must have been, like, from somebody's notes somewhere with Enterprise, I have to wonder. I don't know about the details, because, like, after a certain point, I'm like, wow, this is, like, really fucked. But, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't really put it past any Star Trek writer to kind of give us something that fucked up. It's just that, like, the level they take it to, it's a lot of gore, and I am not a gore person. I don't enjoy it. And a lot of the Gorn episodes, the parts I like about them are not the Gorn parts, because I also don't like horror genre, and I don't like blood and gore. And, episode 3 was really pushing it for me, I will say, in more than one way. Because, oh man, that was just, like, an experience. I don't think it was necessarily, like, a bad episode. The other thing, okay, I'm sorry, can I also just say, like, something that really got me is that, like, they brought their gloves and their mask and everything, right? And yet they still walked out onto this planet after there was a danger beacon without any other protection on, like, outright. Like, what if there had been, like, some sort of biological warfare thing in the air, and they just went and fucking inhaled it? Like, I'm sorry. Like, especially where it's like they couldn't read, like, the zombies' life signs and stuff, so it's like, I don't know, there were just choices made in that episode that I'm like, I feel like this was just, like, a production decision, because, like, it looked nicer to not have them in EV suits, but, like, practically, this was a terrible fucking idea. Like, you don't just go stroll out onto a new planet, just like, hey, what's up? I don't know. Kind of pissed me off. It wasn't the end of the world, but, like, listen, please tell me someone else thought of that. Like, someone else had that thought. When did he address it, though, like, for certain? Because, again, they thought they were fine, but they thought they were fine. But my point is once they saw the beacon, I feel like they should have taken a little bit more precaution, because, yeah, like, I get for the handling of the merchandise, so to speak, I get for the handling of it, they brought protection. But I feel like, especially like when the zombies, like, showed up. Like, they wouldn't have necessarily known that, but, okay, whatever would have been in the air, but, again, there's still an active warning beacon. They don't know what happened. But the thing is, though, is that you never 100% know. Maybe I've played too much STA. Because when we do STA, there have been a couple of times that a major plot point, and this is both in missions people have written and also in missions, like, put out by Modiphius that are official modules. There have been times where it's like, if you don't put on an EV suit, you are screwed. Like, that's in the plot of the STA adventures. Like, like, and it's gotten us a couple times, because we thought, like, oh, we won't need an EV suit. Like, why would we need an EV suit? And then we do. Like, and then there was a time that we had EV suits, and because we didn't go through a proper procedure taking them off, some people got infected. Anyway, they had plot armor. I did say I think it was a production choice for sure. And, like, that's valid. That's fine. It is a TV show. I just, like, remember, like, it almost took me out of the episode. I was like, we're just gonna, like, trust that nothing has happened. Like, we're just gonna, like, oh, it looks totally fine on our scanners. Even though it's literally like a forbidden planet. Like, I don't know. It was just one of those things where I was like, God, I would be way too overly cautious as a Starfleet officer, but like also better safe than sorry in some of these cases. Like, I don't know, this is not an era where we trust the Klingons. Like, it wasn't necessarily like anyone's, like, I don't think they really said it was anyone's fault that they were all zombies, but yeah, I don't know. Greetings from France. Welcome in. We're just waiting for the next event cycle at this point. Yippee. I did want to look and see if there's anything else I wanted from the shop. Okay, so I think I unlocked all the emotes that I want. I just don't really care about the other baseball ones unless I want this, like, because do I want this floater? That's like the real question. This is also very funny. Like, this is a very funny outfit choice. Oh, I guess you can't view it up closer. I can't decide if this floater is worth it, because I already have a really good one on this character. I wish you could, like, account trade different floaters. So then I could, like, get that one and put this one on another one. I don't know. Got it for the colors. Well, that's the thing, is I was wondering, like, if I should get the power board for the colors, because my power board, like, actually needs an upgrade. But also, my current power board is the perfect color for this character. She's supposed to be purple everything. Because, yeah, this is speed rating 88, turn rate. Oh, but wait, why is the turn rating higher? 120 versus 80? Actually, I think I know why I didn't upgrade the power board, because that's scary, but maybe I should, just to see. It'll be fun. Go the fuck off the track again. What's the Kelvin voice? Oh, it's that thing. Right. See, I have, like, a really solid outfit on here. I really like my outfit, so I don't really know if I care about getting another to get the retro flyer. I have that on somebody. Get a nice wetsuit. Oh, I also really like this swimsuit. I forgot. But alright, those are very cursed. What's this? I do have this set as well already. I don't know. Has anyone, like, tried out the Risa kits and has an opinion or anything? I'll just keep farming and see what happens. Alright, 5 more minutes. I forgot what I was talking about Strange New Worlds. I do remember I was talking something about, I said something about, like, this season's really gory, but I think I covered that. The hair. Well, yeah, but I covered that. I said what I was gonna say. I didn't have anything else to say on that one. But I feel like I was thinking about saying something else and then I didn't, so that would be my bad. Thinking about too many things at once. But I know that definitely, oh. So I had thoughts about the second episode too. Like how everyone's outfits just like slayed in that episode. I'll do the thing with Patel, link to the classic Gorn. You know what? That is is that, I can't remember which of my parents said that last night. I think it was my mom. I think my mom said, what if they come out looking like original series? But my dad agreed with it, so. No, that was something that we kind of like floated. But I didn't know if that was like an absolutely insane theory. Like, because it sounds so insane. Like, oh, what? We like mess around with shit and then get like a forbidden, like, we get like that forbidden thing, honestly. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's like, I feel like a likely explanation as well, like that could be the case, but I feel like another likely explanation could be that there's like some sort of like weird Gorn hierarchy somewhere. Yeah, they have done, that's what I'm saying, they've done it before, but I feel like honestly the way, like, I fully expect a tie-in. I think that they will somehow, this season, hopefully, if they drag it out too much longer, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm hoping that sometime this season, they do give us a link. I'm just not sure, like, what it will be, because I feel like if they go through like the hybrid sort of thing, I feel like that's going to be really, really similar to what they did, like how they explained the TOS Klingons. And I feel like it's possible that they could do that, but I do feel like they should, personally, I just would like it better if they come up with something unique. And again, I would like to see the Gorn kind of wrapped up as a major plot point in this season, because I think if you like do too much with the Gorn, you're basically like beating the dead horse, but like in the timeline before the horse even shows up in the timeline previously, because I haven't watched Arena in a while, but I feel like they said something about that nobody's seen the Gorn. And so it's like, I mean, I'm fine with a few people having seen the Gorn, right? But, I just feel like, I mean, that's obviously a very different Gorn. Like, is there, like, a hierarchy of some kind? Do they only let the ones that, like, walk, like, upright like that in command? I don't know, because that's the Gorn captain. TBH, I think they are done with the Gorn. Yeah, that's the thing, is, like, I think that the Gorn, I don't know, I want the Gorn to be wrapped up this season. They wrote an ending for the Gorn. Like, not an ending, but they're dormant now, they leave them alone. They are still dealing with the consequences, though, as of episode 3. And so something tells me they're not quite done with the Gorn, but I just hope that they learned from, I just hope that they learned from the fact that people got tired of the Borg, and they don't do the same thing to the Gorn, honestly. Like, that's my thing. I want them to, like, because I feel like with the 5 seasons, like, I feel like that that decision I feel like is calculated. Like, I know a lot of people have complained about it, and that's fair, but I feel like the way that they've structured it, it had to have been a calculated decision on the part of the production team, because unfortunately, like, that show had a limited time frame from the beginning. We know what happens to Pike, and in some ways it kind of like makes the series like there's some things about the series that aren't as fun because you know what's gonna happen. Like, I do think it's really fun that they flesh out like the backstories and stuff. Like, I think it's so funny with Scotty being this like funny little dude, you know? But there's just like a point where I do think there's just a point where I do think like the series is kind of why? That's why I hate fucking power boards. Anyway, I just think there's kind of a point where it's like I feel like anything they do, unless they do something like different. Strange New Worlds has had some very innovative and interesting episodes. Like, they can do it. I know they can do it. It's just like, if we keep being like, oh, we're gonna have like another like Gorn conflict before the series is over, I feel like they will have been wasting time at that point. Because I just feel like at this point they... But the other thing too is like, honestly, from episode 1 of the season, and this is 100% a prediction, just like probably an insane one, and people will probably disagree with me. I had a feeling from episode 1, like, not even like all the way through episode 1, I had a feeling that Pike's girly friend is not gonna make it through this season. I feel in my soul, like, I feel like that is a real and serious possibility. I feel like she's probably not going to make it through the season, honestly. Because I just feel like that would be the kind of plot device that they would shove in there, and they're just gonna kill her off at some point. I don't know if it'll be like soon, or if there's gonna be like a surprise later, but I feel like some shit's gonna happen to her. And the thing is, on the one hand, I'm like, okay, let's not make Pike into another Picard. Because Picard's entire storyline was just like, we're going to torture him until the end of time. Since Pike is willing to go back to the woman from the pilot. However, I agree. However, I also feel like there is, to a degree, a possibility that something doesn't happen to her, and he just doesn't want to be a burden. Like, if his actual girlfriend is still alive, which I don't think she will be, but if she is, I do see a scenario happening where he doesn't want to burden her with his new existence. But I also agree with you. I think something is going to happen to her. Like, I'm almost certain she's not making it out of this season alive. But I also just, like, am like, you know, couldn't we let him have a little bit more happiness? He already has to deal with the fact that he's gonna die. Like, and it's not just like he knows he's gonna die. It's like he knows, like, he basically knows exactly how he's going to die, which is like a huge impact on his entire way of life. But I don't know. I feel like it's gonna turn into a Picard thing where it's like they're going to make him suffer all the way up until he dies. Like, that's just how it's gonna be. Which, like, it's fine. That's how Star Trek kind of does things sometimes. Just like sometimes I wish that they would also, like, let them be happy. They're also, to be fair, they're also kind of abusing Spock a little bit. Sorry, it's not funny, but it also is. That poor man. they've tortured Spock, like, with the whole Christine Chapel thing for literally, like, 2 entire seasons at this point. Like, yeah, well, he's been a horn dog as well. Like, some of it is on him. I'm not gonna say that some of it is not 100% on him. Because there are choices he has made to make it worse for himself. Absolutely. Where is it? Where is it sending me? Oh, I think I'll go back to the island one over there. I think it's, yes, we're circling the tower, and then I'll come back and do that one. I think they're pairing him with La'an next. Yeah, no, I'm concerned because, again, I'm like, leave the man alone, because I feel like at this point they've set up all they need to set up with Spock, I think. Because I think what I think they were trying to point out is I knew they were going to break Spock's heart at some point. But I think what they did already, where they basically were like, where they basically were like, okay, now, sorry, this one gets me a little bit. Okay, there we go.
Scare the birds in the Great Tower too much.
So they've basically achieved what they need to, because they basically needed to break his heart so that he would basically make a complete turn back to, like, the emotionless Spock that we know from original series. Like, I feel like since they decided that they were going to embrace the fact that Spock had some emotions during the cage, which they made that decision way early on. Early Spock actually, like, expressed his feelings sometimes. And part of that was because they hadn't developed the character in the production yet. But they ran with it, and I think that since they did that, they were always going to be setting him up, like, to have his heart broken and have him have a reason to go full no emotions again. And I think that at this point they've kind of achieved that. Like, they can already start, I think because of what happened, they can start putting him back into, like, the logic again. Like, he goes and he's, like, fully committed, and he's, like, repressing his feelings and everything else. And I feel like that, like, I feel like that's kind of wrapped it up. Not fully, but, like, at this point, you know, like, that is what it is. But no, I agree. I think they're setting him up. They're setting him up to have another one.
Get out there and fly.
Because they're trying to, like, put this chemistry there between him and La'an a little bit. Like, it's a legacy actor playing a legacy role. Yeah, that's the thing, is it's like, I don't object to them giving Spock character development, obviously, because I think that, like, I just think at this point they've, like, really done it well, and there's a point where it's like, there are characters at this point I find more interesting than Spock. Because there's characters that we don't meet later, and I want to know what happened to them more than I care about what happened to Spock, because I know what happens to Spock. And I just feel like there's no need to keep dragging up Spock's problems, because, and I know that there will be at least, like, one Spock, there will be at least one, like, fully Spock-centered episode, one more fully centered Spock episode before the end of the season, because it's just, it's a big character, it's a popular character, everybody wants to know what happens to Spock. I'm just saying, I think that we've covered it now, and I feel like he's going to be more, why is my dog running around outside the door? I don't know. Okay, hold on. They're doing something. Sorry, the dogs were doing something and I had to make sure that they weren't getting in trouble. They almost were getting in trouble, but they were not. Okay, so where was I? On Strange New Worlds. Welcome in. Okay, I pretty much covered Spock, so we don't need to talk about Spock anymore, unless anyone has any other opinions they'd like to hear about Spock. We have 9 more minutes because I'm not doing the artifact hunt. That thing pisses me off so much. I do think, I don't know, see, if I talk too much about my opinions on Strange New Worlds, I do start getting into really controversial territory. And not that I necessarily, like, completely shy away from controversy on this channel, because, I mean, like, I allow discussion of stuff that other streamers don't. Because I don't care if people talk about politics, I just am not gonna have people come in and, like, I don't know, spew complete propaganda. I'm not down for that, actually, because that's what I have to put up with every day in this goddamn country. Do they have any fish out of water stories where Spock or some other alien needs to learn what it's like to be human? Have you not seen Strange New Worlds yet? Or, like, do you plan to? Do you care about spoilers? Because we've spoiled a few things on here already. Because there was a really weird one last season. Like, it was kind of funny, but it was just weird. I will say, though, in addition to what I was saying about Spock and, like, them adding to, his lore, I do appreciate the fact that it is adding, like, depth, and not just, oh, that's just the way he is because he's a Vulcan, because Spock is a more interesting character when you highlight the conflict that he has, but, might eventually look at Strange New Worlds. See, I loved the pilot, personally, but I've had my issues with Strange New Worlds. Like, I think that Strange New Worlds has one of the stronger first seasons of Trek, because, like, let's face it, so a lot of the Trek series take, like, a while to really find their footing, and I feel like Strange New Worlds was a lot stronger from the beginning, which is why it did better than Discovery, because Discovery did not start off strong. It still had a decent first season, all things considered, in my opinion, but if you compare, like at the time, like, Orville was also coming out, and I do see why people gravitated towards the Orville more so than Discovery, because I don't think people were ready to sit through and lock in with those characters based off of that first season. I was, but it's like, I do see why, because it was not as good. Like, once they started going, like, season 1 was barely even the same show after a certain point, you know? And TNG, like, really feels like that of all the series. Like, this is, like, kind of like the Star Trek curse in a way. There are, like, exceptions. Anyway, but Strange New Worlds right now is just, like, they do have a story where Spock, like, has to confront his humanity. But I think they've focused a lot on Spock's love life in Strange New Worlds. And it's like, I don't know, it's just hit or miss, you know, with Spock, because I just feel like at this point they've covered him. And I want more from the others now. And I want more, I think the thing I am most fascinated with in this season is that they finally like have something going on with Ortega's that is not just like, it's not just like, you know, like, I feel like it's building to a bigger plot. It's not just like a little side point. Like, I feel like a lot of times she kind of like gets kind of like, oh, well, we're just gonna put her over there, let her do her thing. Oh, she's great at flying the ship. But I feel like finally they're building to something more interesting with her that she's actually going to be involved in, and I'm really excited for that. I don't know what it is. I have a few theories, but yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited for that. Um, but I don't know. I will say though, this maybe I will talk about my controversial take with Strange New Worlds, because here's the thing. I say this like not. I say this as someone who I really like Strange New Worlds. And generally it's like there are a couple of misses, but every series has those, and I don't feel like that's a reason to like hate on something. But like it is a very strong show and it's very well written, and so I say this just like as an observation, not because I think it's bad, but I do find it interesting because we're working in a time, especially like with recent like Paramount events, you know, we are like working in a time where like there is a shift happening because because there is a shift in like the U Paramount is obviously like it's very firmly in the US market, and therefore the US political happenings are influencing everything that happens at Paramount, which is like sucks really bad. But it is like it's something I feel like we have to acknowledge. Oh, the dogs are barking again. Hold on. I'm gonna run the ad really quick because it's coming up in 3 minutes anyway, and I think I'm gonna have to go stop them from barking. Alright, I am back. Talk about Strange New Worlds. And join this race. Okay, so... it's been a while since I watched the pilot, so I don't remember all the specific details. I do seem to recall that, like, part of the point was that it was, you know, like, a real-world parallel. I do see your point. I don't know, like I said, I could be misremembering. But I feel like the reason why it made an impact on me, because I was like, I felt like it was very, like, relevant to the time. I don't really necessarily know if we'll, like, I don't know, there's some things where it's like they're very relevant to the time, and then, like, you'll go and look back at them later, and you're kind of like, okay, that was weird. So I don't know how we'll feel about that, like, you know, 10, 20 years down the line. I hope that there will be, like, progress by that time, you know? But anyway, like I said, I do see your point. So, so bad at this race. It's so scary. I'm gonna run straight into something. Oh. That's the curve that sometimes I, like, fly off of the track on, honestly. Okay, so... let me finish this race, and then I will get back into Strange New Worlds. My brain cannot do it all at once right now. That was a very smooth finish-ish, maybe. Alright, let me beam over to the other side. Yeah, that one curve takes me out, like, frequently. Anyway, that's why I was like, I can't decide if it's worth it to have a faster power board, because then it's just more likely I'll fly off. But also, I really like the rainbow, you know? Anyway, so... what was I gonna say in relation to the other Strange New World stuff? Because I was thinking about a different episode, too. Oh, no, I was thinking about my controversial opinions. Because this is where it's like, okay, again, I like the show. I think it's a good show. But it is interesting to me, especially given the recent Paramount happenings. It is interesting to me that Strange New Worlds is like, I mean, I know they're having Starfleet Academy come out, so I can't speak on that one yet. It just is interesting to me that, like, of the shows they have left, Strange New Worlds is, like, the one they have left. And I know it's because it's very popular, and that's not what I have an issue with. I don't have an issue with its popularity at all. There are some things that are a little bit... There are a few sus things that sometimes when people tell me, like, they like Strange New Worlds, but they don't like any of the other new Trek series. Like, it's fine to have an opinion, but sometimes it's like, you know, side-eye. Because, like, it's like, why do you like Strange New Worlds? Like, basically, it's like, if somebody can't give, like, a clear reason, sometimes I'm like, okay, then you're probably a bigot. You might not be a, like, overt bigot, but there is some bias within yourself that you need to confront if you cannot give a distinctive reason for why you do not like any of the other series except for Strange New Worlds. Because ultimately, it's like, a lot of the time when people and I'm not talking like, oh, you just like it better than the others. I'm talking like people who, like, say all of the others are bad. Because I have heard people say that they hate Lower Decks, they hate Discovery, they hate Picard, and it's like, but why? Why could that be? The Picard one gets me because I'm like, I don't know why they don't like Picard because it forces them to confront their bias. I do know why it's in the same category, but the other ones, it's like, it's 100% because they don't like the diversity of the cast. And it's funny, because Strange New Worlds does also have a very diverse cast, but there are, like, notable gaps missing in terms of diversity on the Strange New Worlds cast. Like, they don't... I mean, they have not really confirmed... I don't think they've 100% confirmed, like, Erica Ortegas as, like, a lesbian, but I know a lot of the fandom reads her as a lesbian, which is great and good. I love fan theories. I just wish, like... I wish that we had, like, more prominent queer characters on the cast of Strange New Worlds, personally. Again, this is me as a queer person speaking. I love that there is a diverse cast on Strange New Worlds. However, the main two people in charge are white people, and they are... number one is a very good presence on the bridge, but I do also feel like she is kind of exactly what you expect a Starfleet commander to be, and I don't feel like it's really challenging. It's challenging the 1960s idea of, like, who belongs on the bridge, but I don't know if it's challenging the current modern idea of, like, what a leader is, and I feel like it's just, like, interesting that in comparison to the other shows, it's like you have your leadership is less diverse. Because Discovery has a black captain, Lower Decks has a black captain, and I mean Prodigy is more... Prodigy everything is very ambiguous because they're mostly aliens, but let's go race again. Picard is politically backwards. In what way is Picard politically backwards? Like, what specifically? I ask cautiously because I don't really want... I'm not particularly in the mood for a side thing, but I am, like, genuinely curious. I get a point where, like, I have absorbed too much in my brain. Inability to resolve Romulan problem. Oh, okay. No, I see what you mean. Okay, so my answer to this, though, is that I have... Like, these things are valid, I think. But I do think, to a degree, we do need to, like, I think, frame Star Trek in our current modern day as much as we frame it as the future. Because I feel like, you know, when we live in a world where people are still, like, you know, we shouldn't have to have these conversations, but it is a matter of, like, we still have these moments where there are people who didn't take away anything from some of the 1960s lessons, you know? And so, unfortunately, I feel like as long as we are dealing with current modern problems, those problems will, I feel like, be present in Star Trek to some degree. Like, there are things that, yes, I do agree that they would be better that they should be better in the future. But I think that, like, Picard to me read as it was made for our time, the same way that, you know, there are times I'm critical of original series, but I try to frame things in the context of their time, because I feel like that is the most fair way to analyze it. And some of the things were not okay just because they were at that time. Like, there are episodes of original series that I'm like, no, this is not okay. But to a degree, when you're analyzing it, I do think that you have to frame it in its historical context. Not like that should be the only framing. That's not the only point. But like, especially with Discovery, it's like, I feel like the poor reaction to Discovery from, not from everybody, but from the conservative population specifically. I feel like that reaction to the to Discovery is just proof that Discovery, like, kind of needed to have that. I wish they didn't have to have that, you know? Like, because it's like, yes, there was a lot of things, especially in the handling of Adira's story, there were a lot of things that I was like, you know, I wish, like, in the future, we wouldn't have to worry so much about this. Like, people should just, I don't know, like, there are things that basically, I agree to a degree, but it's also like, I feel like we needed some of that. Oh, welcome in! Hi, my name's Jazi. I'm playing STO today for my final Risa stream of the event. Welcome in. 321 TV. Sorry, I couldn't see the username for a second. Welcome in 321 TV and friends. Yeah, well, I was talking about Discovery, but then I'm reading this about the treaty. Okay, so that's too many words for me to read aloud right now. Yes, okay. So yeah, the 400 years later they hate the Romulans too much to do that because they're Romulans. Yes, there is a problem with that, and I completely agree. That like like I said, I don't disagree with your point about Picard. I just feel like in today's modern context, the Federation in Picard is entering an era of like fear that I feel like was supposed to reflect like the world. Like I think they had good intentions with it. Like I have other issues with Picard. I have like a list of issues, but I feel like they're honestly like there are things that are more minor. Like I dislike the synth ban, even though narratively it is very interesting. And that's why sometimes like I have to compartmentalize because I'm like, okay, do I dislike this as just like, do I dislike this because I am way too caught up in canon? And sometimes the answer is yes. Like, sometimes the answer is like, okay, I only dislike this because I am too caught up in the canon and I need to take a step back. And like there's a quote by Leonard Nimoy actually that like talks about this concept about not getting caught up in canon and letting Star Trek take you where it wants to take you because it is about our real world. And I think that that's like a really important thing to keep in mind with the new shows. And when I come at it from that perspective, I still have like some criticisms of them, but like I think that sometimes like the unfortunate thing is just that the people who most need those lessons are not going to be the people who are actually going to take those lessons. Like I feel like sometimes like I'm not the one that I feel like they're trying to explain it to. Like, I know that like there's things that are bad, and I know that we need to be more mindful about things and we should be confronting our biases and everything like that. But then the people who need to do that will not be the people who receive that message. And so I do think there's like, it's tricky. But I think that ultimately Star Trek does its best when it truly does focus on trying to progress things, while also like because you have to ground it in the present day, but I think also you want to show people things, but I wish that they would focus, if they're going to focus on anything related to the past, I wish they would focus more on like the in-between. Like these are things like past tense in Deep Space Nine is like the best example. Like there are things that like that will need to happen to lead to this kind of future, because we've studied like other countries having like stuff, etc. So if we want that on a global scale, everybody has to be more socially aware and just aware of their surroundings. And I think that that's ultimately like that's the lesson so many people need to learn, and people will not learn it, and it makes me sad sometimes because I watch people watch Strange New Worlds. Like, not a ton of people. These are not people I'm close to, for the record, but I am in a, like, I do get into circles sometimes, like, just when I'm out and about, and it's like, yeah, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, well, you say you watch Star Trek, but I think you missed the point. Go watch it again! But, okay, yeah, this is the quote. Canon is only important to certain people because they have to cling to their knowledge of the minutiae. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that word. My brain. Open your mind, be a Star Trek fan, and open your mind and say, where does Star Trek want to take me now? That is the quote. Because he's so correct. Minutiae. Okay, there we go. I was almost there. like, God, I'm so bad at reading aloud. I always have been. This is why I try really hard. Like, usually when I, like, have to MC something, I don't write cards. I try to memorize it if at all possible. Getting harder as life goes on, but yeah, so, past tense was a great episode. Yeah, that's the thing, is it's like, and I feel like if you're going to utilize time travel at this point, that is the way to do it, and I think Strange New Worlds tried, but I don't think Strange New Worlds, like, time travel really, I don't think anything will ever top past tense. But I do give them credit for, like, trying. I just think they didn't have to... I don't think they had to mess with the timeline, per se, to kind of keep that plot point, you know? Like, the whole con stuff, etc. But I also, like... I don't get mad about it, you know? Because I really truly think that, like, Star Trek is a TV show made in our present day, and, like, the people who write that show want us to be aspiring to the future, and to do that, though, people need to be taught in the present to be, like, decent people, you know? And it's like, it is sad that we still have to be trying to tell people this, but I really truly think there are people who completely missed the point of some episodes dating back to the original series, because, like, Let That Be Your Last Battlefield is, like, the biggest example. Like, it's so blatant and it's so obvious, and people still will be like, they'll watch that episode and they'll say, oh, I'm not racist, but then they will go and do something racist. Like, oh my god, it's so frustrating. Figure Avery Brooks is experiencing racism too. Yeah, that's the thing is, but I think that they added a very fascinating aspect to Sisko's character, giving the character, like, because Sisko had, like, some hangups about, like, the past, and, like, so, you know, when they have the whole, like, VIX program and everything, when they have that, he's like, well, this was a time that, like, everybody was oppressed. Like, why would I go on a role play in that era? And that's the thing that I think is very interesting about his character, is because he's kind of like, he has some hangups on that, but he's, you know, there's a thing where it's like, you know, but we're not in that now, and it's like, I don't know, again, I can't really speak on it because, like, I'm white, I will not understand that experience, but I see what they were trying to do, basically, and I do think it makes the character really interesting. The two time travel episodes seem to deal more with the characters in the world. Yeah, like I said, I like these episodes. Like, none of these episodes I mentioned are episodes I really, like, don't like at all. There are things I like about them, and there's also things that sometimes I'm like, you know, sometimes I wish for a little bit different. What are we holding up? And why is there a random guy dancing? I don't know what's happening, but okay. I'm gonna stay out of the circle. I don't know if, like, we're gonna, like, summon... Who died? Okay, you know what? To be fair, holding up torches for Ozzy Osbourne would make a ton of sense on Risa. Like I said, I don't know what we're doing. Should I join them? Why are we talking about... We're talking about Hulk Hogan. Wait. Are they better not be holding torches for Hulk Hogan. I'm not participating in that. Sorry. Okay, anyway. I'm gonna stand here because I don't know what's going on and I'm afraid to join. Great DS9 episodes. The Visitor gave me tonal whiplash. That is a rough episode to watch. I'm not racist / homophobic / misogynist, but it's exactly that. They say all this stuff and then they actually didn't take the principles to heart, you know? But thank you 321TV for the raid. Thank you for chatting with us. We're kind of going off on like 3 different tangents, but or just started. God, okay. Does it no longer start? But yeah, see, that's the thing, is it's like there was such such like a good message and intent behind Picard. But I do see like the point, like, again, the criticisms of it in relation to like, well, the Federation wouldn't do this. Those are not really wrong, but again, they're trying to take us through a journey for us in this century. And right now, that's, like, Picard, I feel like, has the lessons people needed. It's just a shame they didn't fucking listen. Like, these people are holding torches for Ozzy, and the dude dancing is dancing because Hulk Hogan kicked the bucket. God. I was just like, they better not be holding torches for Hulk Hogan. But why are we having, like, discourse in the local chat? Damn. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not, I respect the legend Ozzy Osbourne. I am, like, not a huge metal fan, or anything, so I don't know all of the lore, but I seem to recall something was said, like, didn't Ozzy say, like, he wanted his funeral to be, like, a party? Like, so maybe that's what we're doing over here? Macho Man now has 3 whole minutes of playtime for an eternity. God, that's the thing, is it's like, you know, it's such a shame when, like, people who, like, try their best in this life go, and then you have, like, people that stick around, and then every so often somebody gets, like, you know, get like, just dies, and it's kind of like, nobody really is actually that sad. Because they were sucky, you know? It's a shame Ozzy never got to do a spy movie titled The Osbourne. Oh my god. So, what are we doing? Are we like dedicating this dance off to Ozzy Osbourne or something? Oh no, I see the local chat. I don't see the zone chat because I know better. I don't turn on the zone chat. People say things in there I don't want on my stream. Even that, it's kind of like, I don't know what we're doing. And then there's this guy over here dressed like Iron Man who's drinking. Angels, God. I saw, like, because I know, like, a lot of, like, the Ozzy, like, biting the head off of things, like, is mostly, like, a joke because, like, he didn't, like, I know the bat anyway. I guess he didn't actually intend to, like, bite the head off a real bat. He thought it was fake or something. That's just what I heard. Again, I'm not deep in the lore. All I know is a lot of this stuff I only found out, like, back when he was doing his last show. So there's a lot that, like, I didn't know before. And it's not like I've heard, like, Black Sabbath music. It's just I don't listen to it, like, a lot, you know? So... Oh, now they're Rickrolling in sync. I don't know what we're doing, but anyway, alright. So... I forgot where I was going with that about the thing. Oh, but I remember. I did see, like, there's, like, a picture of, like, Ozzy and Kermit the Frog, where he's, like, posing over Kermit, like, it's a little funny. So I was like, yeah, I guess even he got in on the jokes to a certain degree. Isn't there a Rickroll emote? Yeah, it's literally this emote. That's what everybody's doing, is the Rickroll. The Rickroll dance. See, I can prove it, because if you do the awesome dance, it says, never gonna give it, never gonna give it up. Anyway. Ozzy pissed on the Alamo was banned from San Antonio for 10 years. After that decade, he went back and rocked that place. My god, just like... I mean, metal culture as a whole is, like, super wild. But, yeah, I mean, there's just, you know, like, people who, like... There's like, a lot of, like, great musicians that, like... You know, it's so sad that, like, the bar is, like, so low in hell for celebrities, you know? Because it's, like, so many of them are just so disappointing. Because even, like, Ozzy, like, did some shit that was like, not okay, because he was, like, on drugs and stuff, like, to my understanding. I don't know specifics. But it's, like, you know, even then, it's, like, in comparison to some of these other people that, like, people will still continue to idolize after so long, it's like, come on, people. We can do better. I know this. Do you like baby metal? Well, yeah, I like baby metal. I've performed baby metal songs. I've been into them, to be fair, I've been into them since debut, and they're very different now than they were. Because I saw them grow up from, like, little tiny idols into, like, actual, like, metal performers. But it's like, and I do, like, consider baby metal, like, a lot of metal artists consider baby metal as part of the metal community. It's just haters who don't. But I also feel like, just because I listen to baby metal does not mean I'm into metal. Like, I wouldn't consider myself into metal because I listen to baby metal. You know what I mean? Like, they are metal, but they're, like... If that's all I listen to, I feel like I'm not into the genre as a whole. Gorge just want to have fun. Oh my god. This is gonna be a wild dance-off. Hopefully choo-choo this time. Ozzy paid for it quite literally. God. No, I mean, well, Hulk Hogan was, I don't know, did he end up having, like, I don't think he ended up with nearly the same issues that Ozzy did. I don't know, because I don't follow Hulk Hogan at all. I don't care about any of the crowd that he's in. All I know is that he's a dick. That's all I know about him. But yeah, it's like, you know, like, it's especially where it's like, you know, there was the whole, like, I do know about the whole, like, suicide pact rumor. I don't know if I can say that word on Twitch, but, I do know about that rumor. But my thing is just like, okay, say that, like, they did, which it's kind of been confirmed it was a rumor, and not based in fact, but it's like, okay, say, like, they did, though, like, I just feel like that kind of thing with, like, you know, given, like, the life that he has lived and, like, how much he was struggling and suffering, it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like that, like, even if that had been, like, true, like, it's nobody's business at that point. Like, I feel like it should not have, like, been covered in the way that it was by, like, the gossip media. Like, I don't know.
Wave your hands.
Like, this random vacationer just come up next to me. Also, it makes me laugh how the disco communicator, like, never leaves my character's hand. Just waving it around. It's so funny. But anyway, it's like, look. It's like there are, like, there are times when it's like, you know, we can have an argument about, like, medical assistance and dying and all that, but I feel like when it, just because, like, somebody, like, prominent, like, you know, it's discussed surrounding them, I feel like there's just a point where it's like people do deserve, like, to have their privacy even if they're celebrities, you know? Because, like, they have lives and, like, struggles too, and I feel like those aren't for, like, what they want to share is great, but those are not, like, for public entertainment, you know? Like, but yeah, that's the thing is, it's like, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't think alone, like, doing drugs, like, that, like, that immediately, like, ruins somebody, you know? Like, I don't think it makes them, like, not, because people can, like, come back from addiction and be good role models. I'm not necessarily talking about anybody in particular, but there are, like, incidents where that, but it's like, you also can't, I also feel like glamorizing it to too much of a degree, like, it's a very delicate balance, because if you're glamorizing it, then you also have people who are influenced by that and think, well, they did it, so can I, and that's not a good thing. Like, it's one of the things where it's like, I tell people all the time, I'm like, look, like, I have not had any experience with addiction personally. Like, I've never done hard drugs. I did drink underage sometimes, etc. But it's like still, just like some of the things that I did in, like, my late teens, early 20s are not things that I would necessarily consider, like, good examples to other people. And it's like, because especially, like, in my position in the Kaigai Idol niche, especially locally, where it's like there are, like, younger people who look up to me, it's like I always try to maintain, like, really good boundaries in that aspect, because it's like I make jokes all the time about stupid shit I did in my like late teens, early 20s, like, and we're talking, like, I'm 26 now, but I do turn 27 this year, so it's like it wasn't that long ago, but it was long enough ago. Like, there were some things that I just feel like got easier after I turned 25, like, not making completely stupid decisions, like, was a lot easier post 25 than before. Because I never believed in the, like, oh, you'll just magically mature at 25.
Do the snake.
Obviously, it's not, like, just magically, but I do think some things get easier after 25. In terms of, like, working on yourself and being a better person, personally. And so it's also, like, why when there's people after 25 who, like, still are on the same nonsense they were when they were 15, I'm kind of like, yeah, can't relate. I would be so embarrassed if I was the same person at, like, now that I was when I was a teenager, you know?
Do the sidestep.
Is it weird that it irks me the vacationers don't follow the dance calls? No! It confuses me too, because sometimes I, like, don't realize they're the vacationers. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing, like, the whole time? But... and it's so random, too. I don't know how that works. Maybe, like, it's not... maybe it's more work than it's worth to, like, make them all follow the dance instructor. But, like, no, I see your point. I do see your point.
Dance club style.
Military regularly has issues with under 21-year-olds wanting to redeploy immediately once back in the state. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, but I also feel like there's a little bit, I don't know.
Just dance.
There's a lot of issues with the military, like, trying to recruit people immediately out of high school too. Like, they claim, like, it's for the physical fitness or whatever, because, like, yeah, but I don't know, like, there's just, I don't think, like, there's not a lot of maturity in the demographic, especially in, like, men who are 17, 18, like, they're not really even men yet. They are still, like, little boys in a lot of ways. But the Mormon Church does this too. Well, yeah, if you, but, like, I think the point that I've heard to justify, like, young military recruitment is that if you don't have, like, time to get out of shape, like, then you can train better for the military or whatever. I don't know. I am not pro-military, so I don't know how it works, like, and it's not like I don't come from a family where, like, oh, like, my dad was in, etc. My dad was never in the military. My grandpa was, but, like, you know, that feels like so long ago, because that would have been, like, Vietnam War, which is a whole other can of worms. But it's like, there's just, like, there's, what I was saying is that there are, the Mormon Church does this too, where they try to get young men, but when they commit to these choices, they're, like, 17, so they're children. They try to get men, like, at 18 years old to ship out on a religious mission, like, right out of high school. Like, basically, like, as soon as they're 18, they go in, and then they go away for 2 years, and they come back when they're 20, and then it's like, okay, now go to college. And I don't know, there's, like, there's so many things about that, like, it's not, I don't want to directly compare it to the military or anything, because I feel like that could become an issue real fast, like, but it is a similar idea, I feel like, of trying to, like, get people to just, like, immediately go out and do these things. And the thing is, it's like, these, like, because of how structured and, like, regimented these, like, these like, LDS missions are, they are not for everyone, and I feel like if they want to present it as an option, okay, fine, but it's like, they're not for everyone, and a lot of the time in the like, culturally, it's like, oh, every young man has to go on this, or, like, there's basically, like, something wrong with them for not. And just because, like, the time, like, when you're 18 to 20 is a time where it's like, you are still really figuring yourself out, and I feel like it's not necessarily a good thing to be like, oh, well, go and, like, dedicate your life for religion for these 2 years. They're, like, your key time to be learning and growing. Because I feel like when they come back, most of them are, like, not normal after. Like, there are some people who handle it, and there are other people who, like, it does not go well with them. Some of them leave the religion entirely after, or during. I've heard of that happening. And, like, you know, I support that. Like, you know, whatever is right for you. But it is also, like, I think it's, like, on the, it's on the wider culture of it. Because it's, like, I'm not going to say you were right when you misspoke and just said cult. I said culture, I did not say cult, just for the record. But there are cult-like elements in this religion, and I have spoken on that before. But it's like, again, like, I try really hard, like, I mean, I have spoken out. I am not, like, pro-Mormon, because for me it was a very, like, traumatizing period in my life, and a lot of my, like, core issues that took me years to work out are a result of that religion, and were not a result of, like, any other elements in my life. So it's like, I am, like, don't get me wrong, I am not, like, I have been very open about the fact that it's like, I am ex-Mormon, I have not been Mormon for years, and I am very happy this way, but there's also a point where it's like, yes, there are culty elements, and I have acknowledged that as well, because it is culty, and we should acknowledge that. But I also try to be a little bit fair to people, and not, like, completely, like, because I feel like completely, like, I used to be very bitter, don't get me wrong. When I first left, I was super bitter. I was kind of mean to everybody. But like when
Dance club style.
since I have been out for longer and I feel like I'm a little more normal about things, I feel like it doesn't help anybody. Like, you know, if people do want to leave, you know, I want people like in my life, like who may be members of that church, like I want them to feel comfortable like coming to me and talking to me about things and knowing like I'm not going to immediately like shut them down and make them feel bad, you know? So I do try to be a little bit careful when I speak on it because it's like there is, you know, there is such a thing as like, you know, trying to like have compassion for people, because I do know that a lot of people you know, because the culture is so overbearing in Utah, some people need like a place to come and they don't want to come and like just be judged and berated. And so I try not to be that person. Even though sometimes like in my head I'm like the answer is to just leave. I try not to tell people that right off, if that makes sense. Because it's like, you know, I just try to be a kinder person. Like, again, I am not religious. I don't believe in pretty much any religion. I'm not a diehard atheist, but I don't believe in any particular religion. And I don't believe in organized religion. I believe in, like, if you are going to be spiritual, it should be a personal thing for you. I think that organizing that and trying to create, like, a thing around it, like, I understand community, but there are other ways to find community. And I feel like the LDS religion has organized to the point that it's like, this is why you get these culty elements, because there's not the personal aspect anymore. Like, they talk about like, oh, well, you need to pray and do this, but it's like, if you, under this religion, like, if you pray and you get a different answer than what someone like in authority is telling you, then that means your answer is wrong. And I don't like that. Like I said, I really don't like that. So I did not mean to go on a complete tangent about this, but like this is how I feel about it. And it's like, I don't know, I've done like a lot of personal like growth in this department to try to not be a hater. But sometimes there's a little bit of a hater inside me, I'm not gonna lie, but I try to not let it come out. Military has supposedly a sense of community. Yeah, but the military, I would argue the military is in the same category of, they have community, because like I know a lot of like ex-military random dudes, because I come across them all the time, like in the Trekkie circles. And it's like, listen, like, there are a lot of similarities between the military and organized religion, especially the ones that have culty elements. I would say the military, I think, has almost as many culty elements as the Mormon religion does. Honestly. Like, I don't know, if you get talking enough to some of these people, especially, as there are people who are in denial about it, don't get me wrong, but people who are able to be, like, critical about their experience in the military, actually are very interesting to talk to. And I wanna do another, like, Star Trekky YouTube video and bring some of my friends that, like, have military experience, but I don't know what to pick for a topic, because I'm kind of, like, torn between, I know I was gonna, 30 more minutes. I'm gonna beam over to here. I'm kind of torn between, like, doing, like, because we did too broad of a topic last time. We tried to do, like, the Bajorans and Cardassians, but, like, as it relates to Israel and Palestine, and that was really that was too big of a topic, and that video ended up being, like, an hour and a half long, almost, and also, someone who's in that video will never be in any of my videos again, so it's kind of like, I don't know, but I really want to continue the series. I just don't know, like, what a good topic is, because I'm torn between doing, like, an Odo episode on, like, the police, like the police, police system, my brain, or, like, what was the other idea I had? I know I had another idea, and I can't remember it now. I wrote it down somewhere. I cannot remember. I think it might have had... I am so sorry. I thought I had, like, another option, but I don't know. I just think, like, the policing one would be really interesting, but I'm also, like... That's also a thing where it's, like, that... I don't know. It would be in theme with the degree of, like, radical seeming some of the videos were, because... I don't know. I expected a lot more hate for my first one than I got. But I also think it's because people didn't watch it because it was so long, so... I don't know. I always expect controversy when I go and, like, talk about stuff on the internet, but... A lot of gunsmiths are... Mormons. Oh my god. Oh my god. You know, something that I also think is really funny... Because, see, one of the things that, like, I do that is one of my more toxic traits, I will admit, sometimes I will argue with Mormons who piss me off. Again, I try to be kind and respectful to people, but if you, like, come at me and, like, want to say some shit, I'm gonna say some shit back. Because it's like, I love the assumption that some people have, not all, like, these are not people who are, like, my actual friends, but some people I've met have, like, this idea that, like, because I am queer, for some reason, like, I don't know anything about their religion, and therefore they think it is, like, their position to be condescending to me. So what I really like to do is because a big problem that I had, like, even when I was in the church, is that a lot of Mormons do not know their own doctrine, and not only do they cherry pick, like a lot of Christians cherry pick, honestly, but not only do they cherry pick their scripture, but they also are like, they're just like really bad about, like, trying to twist things to mean what they think they should mean. And it's like, sometimes it's just a little bit funny to point out that they're wrong. Because it's like, I was in it for so long. Like, I know how to argue with them. It's just, it's better for my mental health if I don't. But sometimes, like, if they try to say anything homophobic, it's like, I can very easily, like, disprove that to you. Because, like... Look, your God really did not have as much of an opinion on this as y'all think he did. Anyway, if God is bored, here's it. All right, let's not quite go there, but oh, I remember something else I was gonna say. Something interesting for those who don't know is, like, Mormons don't actually believe in, like, a true hell. Like, but there's a lot of Mormons who like to tell people they're going to hell. And it's like, it's just like they open it up so easy. It's like if I hear that, I'm like, you know, like, are you Mormon? Well, you can't say Mormon. They don't like being called Mormon. I do it anyway. But it's like, if you ask them, like, if they're LDS, if you hear somebody, like, say something, like, vile to someone, and you say, like, are you, like, LDS? You can say this in Utah, not many other places. And, like, if they are, you can just tell them that their religion doesn't actually believe in hell, so you can't be telling people that. Like, they believe in spirit prison, but they also believe in, like, the three kingdoms and then outer darkness, and you can't actually go to outer darkness unless you, like, deny Christ or whatever. But it means, like, the criteria for outer darkness is you have to have actually seen Jesus and deny Jesus in order to actually go to outer darkness. So there's, like, hardly anyone who's actually going to outer darkness. So it's like, you guys, like, they don't even know what they're talking about. Like, you can't tell me I'm going to hell for being gay because your religion doesn't believe in actual hell. Also, like, again, like, there's not as many references to homosexuality in the Bible as they seem to think there is. Christianity has been around for 2,000 years, Mormonism has been around for 200, and you still screw up your history. No, that's another thing too, is like, if, like, I'm sorry, I should not be giving people tips for this, but if you ever find yourself in an argument with a Mormon, like, you can also ask them if they know about the Joseph Smith head in a hat thing. Because there are, like, again, there are, like, Mormons who, like, do, you know, they actually, like, do emulate Christian values. It's just that my experience has been that there's a disturbing number who don't actually emulate the Christian values they claim to have. And I mean, but that's, like, generally, like, Christian nationalism in the US, is that, like, a lot of Christians don't actually, like, because it's like, look, Jesus did say, love thy neighbor, and, you know, don't be worried about other people's sins when you have, like, your own. Basically, like, the biblical way of saying, mind your damn business. And they always seem to conveniently forget about those parts. Just, you know, this is why religion does piss me off. But again, I try to be respectful to people who, like, are Christian, because people, like, I don't think that it's, like, healthy or nice to assume that everyone is bad, but I also understand people who are cautious around people who are Christian, because there is the possibility that they could just be a massive bigot and not actually, like, read their scriptures at all, like, because a lot of them don't. But yeah, there is some, like, very ahistorical claims in Mormonism as a whole, but man, like I said, just if you ever need it, you can always bring up the Joseph Smith head in a hat, because there are ahistorical pieces of art that I saw when I was in the church, like, of him, like, oh, he's, like, reading from the golden plates, whatever. No. In the actual account of, like, what happened, he put his face in a hat and read it off of a stone. That's what he said. There are images of that, but somehow this is a lot less you know, spiritually provoking than guy reading a book, you know? Okay, I'm sorry, I'll be done now. It's so cursed. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about, there is a picture of it that is in my brain right now. Okay. Torah, Bible, and the Quran. The Desert Trilogy! Disappointing lack of sandworms! Book of Mormon is like the fourth part of a trilogy made many years later when people thought there could be some more money room from that. Yeah, that's the thing, is it's like, I don't know, like, there are, like, some Mormons who at least are realistic about the part where it's like, you know, because ultimately I do feel like, no matter what church you are in, if you are going to be religious, you do have to acknowledge, like, it's not healthy, I feel like, to basically try to hold, like, other humans up is, like, you know, like, these great pillars of things. Like, Joseph Smith is an example. It's like, objectively, he did bad stuff. Like, just aside from the fact that he's, like, a con man, aside from that, he did a lot of not great stuff. And it's like, sometimes, like, you know, even if you, like, you know, are practicing a religion, I feel like you do have to be reasonable, because ultimately it's like, okay, you believe in this scripture, but then you support this person who's not following that. I don't know, like, critical thinking is an important skill, even, like, in any instance. Like, and again, like, I know of Mormons that are, like, are actually progressive people. I don't necessarily know how they justify it, because I wasn't able to completely make peace with that ever, and that's why I left. But it's like, I'm trying to meet people where they're at, you know, like, okay, Jesus also had the Sermon on the Mount, in which he explained to render unto God what is God. I can't read this loud. Okay, Caesar. When. Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah. No. This is an excellent point as well. Like, no, right now, like, the US is completely, like, honestly, like, if you are a true believing Christian, the US right now is like a complete, like, slap in the face to everything that Christians are supposed to stand for if they actually read the book. Like, because, you know, it's kind of like, because, and the thing too is, like, this is like the twisting thing, especially like for Mormons, because another thing as well, actually, Pioneer Day was yesterday in Utah, or also known as Pie and Beer Day, as many non-Mormons celebrate it. It is pretty funny, Pie and Beer Day, but the pioneers that founded Utah were illegal, it's in quotes because obviously we have to qualify that, were illegal immigrants. Like, because, I mean, ultimately everybody to the US was an illegal immigrant because this land was already occupied, but, like, I don't know, when they were already causing so many issues for this land to begin with. I don't know, I'll still use the quotes, you know, but yeah, literally, like, it's like, you can say refugees, you can say whatever else, but the actual refugees, people who have actually tried to come to the US, who are refugees, are the same people that people are calling illegal right now. And again, it's like, they're usually not actually illegal. Like, I don't know, people are so wild, here and everywhere. But, what was I gonna say? I was going somewhere with the other thing. I can't remember now. Oh, Pioneer Day. And then, okay, so the thing is like, there were people, like, cause Pioneer Day, like, is, for some reason, like, is always, like, celebrated, like, 4th of July Part 2 here, which is kind of cringe, because I'm like, you guys all, like, the founding of Utah is, like, a part of Mormon history, and all these people are Mormons, and yet they don't actually, like, again, they lack the critical thinking skills to realize, hey, wait, like, the entire history of the Mormon religion is founded on, oh, they're persecuted for this and that. And then they have absolutely zero empathy for refugees, because they'll say, like, well, those aren't real refugees, etc. And it's like, no, they are real refugees. Like, you're just kind of deluding yourself into thinking they're not so that you can justify hating them. And it's like, it's so genuinely upsetting. And this is why, like, Mormonism as a whole is a tough subject for me, despite the fact that, like, I try so hard to be kind to people, like, obviously. But it's like, it is difficult to see people, like, completely miss the point. It's like with Star Trek. It is difficult to see people completely miss the point of, like, okay, did we read the same book? Did we watch the same show? Because it feels like we didn't, but, like, we supposedly did. And that's ultimately my problem, because it's like, you have this happen so much in the US, and it's like, we are a country of illegal immigrants. Like, you just, like, I don't know. Give the indigenous people their land back, honestly. Like, clearly the, like, clearly the US institution just has completely just fallen so far. It always had problems, but man. Anyway. So, alright, any final words from everyone? Did everyone already leave because I ranted for too long about the Mormons? My bad. Happy day after Pie and Beer Day. Oh yeah, no, that's the thing, is like, they ruined America, but like every single white person in this country was once an immigrant and an illegal one. The land was occupied. Oh, the Trump family came over like later in the game than like a lot of people, you know? Like see, that's the thing is we should be pointing this out to people, but like we know they're not going to listen. We know that when they say immigrant, they don't actually mean immigrant. We know this. Like it doesn't even take like a lot of, I wouldn't even say it takes a lot of critical thinking to be like these people are racist, you know? Like that's a very, they've made that very clear. Slay in the outfit. Oh, do we need an outfit shot? Oh, I have like just a few minutes left, I guess. But here's the outfit shot. Anyway, hi Tonakuma. We're talking about the state of the US, so probably about time to sign off. Oh, man. Literally. But literally, it's like, well, we were talking about Star Trek, which, like, this is a very, like, relevant segue into Star Trek, because it's all the same. Star Trek tried to teach us, and people didn't fucking listen. I can't believe that there are people who, like, wholeheartedly voted for Trump and watched Star Trek. Like, that will never make sense to me. It's like, that's why it's like my one rule is like, no, if you voted for Trump, like, I am not interested in you joining, like, my like, Discord community and everything, because I was like, there's just no arguing with you. It's like, I am a queer woman. I am a queer woman. If you are like, if you're hating on like if you're hating on like all these people, like I am also part of that group, you know? In the Zephram Cochrane time, like that's the thing is, okay, I will end this on a positive note and like say though, like honestly, like people will talk about like, oh, we're in the mirror universe timeline, like if we're never gonna get this, etc. That's not true, because in the prime Star Trek timeline, like in the time of Zephram Cochrane, in the show, what they wrote is that everything would have to get worse before it got better. And not to say that we should like strive to make things worse so it'll get better. Accelerationism is also bad, but it is a fact that like it is not going to be some like overnight like, oh, suddenly everyone's friends again. Like, it will be difficult, but there is like the hope that things can be better, and that's what Star Trek is about. But it's also for our present time to try to like, I don't think we should seek out to like, you know, bring that about if we can avoid it, but it is one of those things where it's like, you know what, I think that's what Star Trek represents, is that it's going to be better for us, you know? Like, well, not for us. I shouldn't say for us. It will be better for humanity later on. But no, like, Star Trek does segue into, like, political stuff all the time, and that's why I don't mind it. I just, like, as long as I don't have to argue with, like, literal Trumpers, I enjoy a little healthy debate. Like, I don't feel like I have to agree with everybody 100%. It's just that we can't disagree on human rights. Like, we need to, like, establish, like, all humans deserve rights to live freely, and, like, that's not an argument, period, but warp was first discovered, it was after a global war. Yeah, so, yeah, like, that's, World War III was a, like, global nuclear war in the Star Trek timeline, and that nuclear war led, like, is what directly led to, like, humanity rebuilding and building the warp drive. And also, Zephram Cochrane originally said that he wanted to make the warp drive to get rich. So he was, by all rights, he was a capitalist at the beginning, and then there's a whole movie where the TNG crew goes back in time and has to help him build the warp engine and all that stuff. First Contact is such a movie. It's one of the better TNG movies. Generations is pretty good too, in my opinion. No, like, that's why I like Star Trek, is like, I don't know, it's, I feel like I want Star Trek to be relevant to us in the present, but I also don't, I think that it needs to keep, like, the hopeful tone, which so far I think, like, most of the series have. The only Star Trek installment that I've had a problem with recently, as we all know, is the Section 31 movie. I did not like that for a variety of reasons, and I just feel like it didn't need to be what it was. Like, Section 31 should have been, like, you can't make, like, a big-ass, like, organization and then be like, this is actually our secret shadow organization. It's not in the shadows anymore. You fucked that up so bad. And now you just have, like, Starfleet people enabling it. And, again, and I don't think that that take teaches us anything. I don't think that it teaches us anything to make Section 31 that. Like, I think it's just, at that point, you're just glorifying the military. Deep Space Nine's take on Section 31 was supposed to teach us something. There was a lesson there. Like, it's not what it was in that movie. That movie, I don't feel like I came out of that movie being like, oh, I'm inspired. And I feel like I should come out of Star Trek being, like, inspired a little bit, you know? Prodigy was very inspiring to me. Prodigy, like, almost no notes. There's a couple things I had notes on, but I can't remember them right now. Prodigy is an excellent series, and it really just nailed a lot of things, and I'm so sad that it was not treated the way it deserved. But yeah, this is why it's like, there's, like, I see the merit in a lot of sci-fi franchises that I don't personally like, but it's like, I don't know, I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of, like, I'm trying to think of the example I was thinking of. I haven't ever seen Dune, to be honest, so I don't know. I know a lot of people like that one. And I'm not a big fan of, like, Walking Dead, because I'm not a big fan of zombie stuff in general. That's what I was saying about Strange New Worlds. I was like, I don't mind them as a plot point, but, like, it's so gory. So gory. Oh, Prodigy is absolutely great for adults. Like, it is, like, I would say, like, it and Lower Decks, I feel like, are some of the most enjoyable newer series. Like, the other ones, like, there are, like, Picard has some really dark shit in it. And Discovery has some dark shit in it, though Picard, man, might be taking the prize for some of those episodes. And it's like, I think that's okay to have a little bit of darkness, but I don't know, the Section 31 movie, that was just too damn much. Anyway, but no, Prodigy, I would say honestly, like, man, it is so good. I have been wanting to rewatch it again recently, but Star Trek in the olden days was a nice departure from that. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to go shortly. Star Trek in the olden days was a nice departure for that, except we in the real world are on course doing better than... Yeah, like, they, I mean, don't necessarily say never on World War III, but we haven't had it yet. We've just missed the segregation of the poor time lane. But, the thing is, though, we haven't necessarily reached, like, what they specifically said, like, in past tense would happen. We didn't necessarily have, like, that exactly happen, but, I do think to a degree, what we saw happen in LA is kind of like the Bell Riots in a way. So it's like, there's definitely things, like, there has definitely been, like, a segregation of society, and they are kind of trying to, like, push poor people out of society. So I do think there is a degree, like, that is happening. It's just not, they made it that way in the show, I feel like, to, again, illustrate the point, but I feel like it doesn't have to get... We still have that problem, even if it's not exactly what we saw, you know? Didn't like Discovery, and I'm thinking of getting into Strange New Worlds. I mean, again, Discovery is also on the hand of, it's like, some people love it, some people hate it. I liked it, but I also understand, like, there are valid criticisms of it. I just get sus when people are like, I hate all of the new Trek. And I'm like, okay, except Strange New Worlds. They like Strange New Worlds. And I was like, what is the difference between these series and Strange New Worlds? Strange New Worlds has a white captain. Interesting. Interesting. Because, yeah, I was like, what do Discovery and Lower Decks have in common? Yeah, if you hate both of them, it might be on you. And I mean, like, the real haters. I'm not saying, like, you can't dislike them. That's allowed. But, yeah, no, side-eye. But Strange New Worlds I do think is really good. I was just talking about, like, there was a lot of, like, there's a lot of weird gore randomly in Strange New Worlds, which is not great for me, but it's a really good show, I will say. Oh, I didn't even get into, like, my most controversial Strange New Worlds opinions. Next time, I can give my most controversial Strange New World opinions. Because it was kind of on the tangent that I was trying to go off into religion. Because, again, I love Strange New Worlds, but there are some things I do think are just interesting that are different about Strange New Worlds than others, and that that Strange New Worlds is what has stuck around when all the others are, like, gone, and I'm like... I have thoughts. But yeah, no, I see that point on Discovery, because for me, like, the characters were so interesting, like, I just had to love it. And Tilly is my favorite, like, she's the best. But the story was kind of all over the place. I understand that for sure, like, that is very valid. I liked, and I also feel like, honestly, some of the storylines were less enjoyed. I feel like the storylines were less enjoyed by people who, they were less enjoyed by people who didn't really know a lot of Star Trek lore, because there was a lot of, like, references, especially in the final season. I feel like it was, like, you had to have, like, context that not everybody had. Which is fine, but also, like, I get why people didn't like that season. But I will say, though, but the thing is, though, I feel like we need Lower Decks is not based on one captain only, though, and Lower Decks is also, like, a lot of people like Lower Decks and don't like other things, but I don't know, I see, like, believe me, I get it, I know why, it's like, but there's think of all the hate there is for Voyager and all of the shit that people say about Captain Janeway, and people don't say those same things about, like, Picard. Like, and also, like, Sisko gets more judged heavily than the white captains do, and it's just, like, there is an element of racism present in areas of the Star Trek fandom that's really unfortunate. Again, for a show that should be showing us to progress. But anyway, I really have to go. This will be a conversation for another time for sure. Thank you so much for joining me. You can check out all of my links in the things. No, see, there is judgment for Picard. There are so many things to judge Picard for, and I'm just saying that fandom-wise, he does not get judged nearly enough in comparison to some of the others that are part of minorities. That was all. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. We're gonna see who we're gonna raid. I don't know who it is, but. Yay! See you later. Bye for meow.